We're here today at Headingley, and I'm joined by Wigan head coach Matty Peet. How you doing, mate?
Good to see you.
So obviously this is your second year in the job, and you're 80 minutes away from another Challenge Cup final. How does that feel?
Exciting, but it's a big 80 minutes, isn't it? So I think if we win this, I'll be made up. The team will be made up. The old town, hopefully. To get there twice in 2 years would be surreal, but we're not really thinking about that at the moment. We're thinking about Hull KR and the threat they bring and trying to find our best form.
Obviously, looking at the results that you've had against Hull KR this season, there was the opening day defeat, and then since then you beat them on Golden Point. How do you reflect on those games to get the best out of your team going into the semi-final here at Headingley on Sunday?
I think there's a clear warning for us, isn't there? We've been well beaten once, like you say, and probably we're lucky to get away with that Golden Point victory. We weren't the better team through the 80 minutes, so we're going to have to bring a better level because they're going to bring their best game as well. So I think Hull KR have been very, very impressive all season. They have some outstanding individuals, but most importantly, I think Willie has instilled a great team ethic, and the work rate is very high. So we've learned the hard way this season that they're a really tough team to beat.
Obviously, looking at the Super League season as a whole, there's a lot of crazy results. It's got to be said, and there's no team safe from it this season. So how are you kind of looking at the cups this year? Because it seems to be, if we're going to have a dip in form, a cup game comes and the performance is more than there, and it's kind of like a jump pad to kind of go to the next level.
Yeah, I would prefer we were consistent and we delivered that level regardless of the occasion, regardless of the opposition. But I do think it shows that we have the capability to perform. We enjoy the big occasion and the knockout types of game clearly, and that's important because in this competition and the Super League, it comes down to knockout rugby league. So I do take a bit of confidence at knowing the lads generally deliver in the big games. But we're going to have our best. But we're going to have our best performance of the season to get through to a Challenge Cup final. I'm very confident that anything less will see us out the cup.
Is that something you're kind of keeping in mind for the playoffs towards the end of the season as well? Just the big game performances with the big players?
You're hoping so. I think everyone's talking now about building momentum for the back end of the year, and you're hoping that when them fixtures come in September and October that you're healthy and you're finding form. And momentum's so important in knockout rugby, and it's the same with the Challenge Cup now. We can find some momentum through the next month. It could be an unbelievable month for us. But I do go back to I would prefer we were a group where any time, any place, week to week, we were 9 and 10s out of 10. But I guess that's the challenge of coaching.
Of course it is. And looking a bit ahead to next season, you've obviously confirmed quite a few moves so far. Adam Kieran's the latest one to join up. Obviously, Cruz Lehman was playing here last season. Sam Walters is still playing here this season. Are you excited for next season? Is there a bit of your mind just kind of looking ahead, or is it fully focused this season? Let's get the Challenge Cup done and let's try and get as far as we can in that and the Super League.
It's both. There's weeks and days where you have to be 100% on this week's performance. And this week, absolutely, to take your eye off the ball for 1 second would be criminal. But there's also days where you and meetings what you have to have an eye on the future, and recruitment and retention is a big part of that. So Chris and Sean, Wayne and Lenigan and myself get together when the time's right and discuss this in great detail and look at our plans. But once that meeting's finished, I'll leave it to them then, and I have to get on the field and get in the meeting room and make sure this team, the present team is the most important one. And that has to take up my headspace, and I try to be super organised so I can do what's best for the team on a daily basis.
Final question. Obviously you've got the other semi-final happening on Saturday, Saints versus Lee. One's a very local game and one's the derby. Is there a preferred fixture if you get through Sunday against Hull KR?
Well, certainly not, no. I think they both would be unbelievable games. Different. Obviously, Lee would feel quite unique after so long off the big stage, but Saints would be a huge game. Anytime those two teams come together in a final, it's huge. So either one would be exciting. I just hope that we're in it, and I think we're in for two fantastic games at the weekend. I think Lee and Saints will be really interesting fixture, and I wish them both the best of luck. Got friends in both teams and both clubs, but yeah, most of my attention will be on Sunday afternoon, and probably the nerves through the weekend getting building for that. But these are the games you want to be in, and one thing I do know is that watching a final on TV sat at home would be horrible. And even this weekend, if we hadn't managed to get through to the semi-finals, these are really tough weekends for teams and coaches. If you're not in these big games, I think everyone's looking at the 4 teams with a bit of envy this week. In a few weeks, we want to be in that final. So, massive challenge ahead. But these are the games. These are why you coach. These are why the lads play. And hopefully, our fans are looking forward to it just as much as we are.
Spot on. Right, well, thanks very much for joining us, Matty, and best of luck this weekend.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.